Hello guys, this is BK from BK Photos and you are welcome to my channel. If you have not subscribed already, make sure you do and click the notification button so that you will not miss any episode. Alright, so let's get into today's episode. Shot Capture One and I'm loving okay, so I'm loving the features that Capture One brings. So let's import, let's just drag this photo. I want us to work on this photo today. So let's select it by pressing S on the keyboard and then we import it. Alright, so this is my studio here in Koforidua, if you are West Africa, Ghana to be precise, and I'm in Koforidua and this is where I took the shot. This is a model of mine, Kiki. I have this track lights in the studio and this is a test shot actually. We were not even setting the strobe and all that up, but I felt I needed to take a shot and this is what we got. Okay, so I decided to edit this photograph because if you look at the colors and the white balance here, it's there's too much red and it's so warm that you might probably think it will not work, but yes, it was intentional. I wanted us to work on this photograph. Most people pick a photograph that obviously looks good already and you try. I want to pick a photograph that we can see the transformation and then we will learn a lot. So guys, focus. Let's go on. All right, so starting from here, Capture One comes with a lot of features and a lot of settings. So but let's start with the colors. Let's jump straight to white balance and let me correct the white balance here. All right, so obviously it's too warm, so let's cool it down first. Let's bring it way down. I think this side is okay, and because the more we bring the blues up, values up, the more we get the more it introduces tint in the colors. So let's push it up to, let's bring the greens up a little bit, and I think I'm happy with these values. Yeah, so now let's go to the basic characters or the basic settings, the basic adjustment. We will come back to the colors, but let's make sure the basic settings are done. All right, so of course, let me with these photos, I think with this photograph, I think the highlight is too much already, but let me see whether I can pop it up a little bit because I like bright colors. Let's open the higher dynamic range, drop down the highlights from here to probably, let's say 40. Take away a couple of shadows. Don't worry, 5 is okay. We are going to bring the blacks in here, so the blacks at 10 will be fine. And let's bring the whites down, -5 to, yeah, -5 is okay. I don't want to bring the highlights way down, but at least we can compensate with decreasing the whites. And let's come to the levels. Let's increase it to 10. Okay, let's deal with 5 and 5 or 8. 8 is okay. And usually I pick 244 because it works better. So now that the levels have increased, the highlights, I think we can drop it back to 50. Yes, it's kind of settled, when you open your eyes while you see it. In some of these settings they are settled, but it makes a great impact. All right, so let's move back to the colors. We are not going to do much with Capture One. We are just checking the basic settings and then. All right, so let's bring sharpness. I want to go to 300. Let me see, 300. Okay, and the radius is 1 because let's increase from 300 to probably 400. I want it to be crispy, so that when we put it on the social media platforms, we retain a little bit of sharpness. All right, so let's get back to our colors, and let's jump straight to the color editor. This is one feature in Capture One that makes color grading and the skin correction kind of easier. So under the skin tone tab, we pick the eyedropper, and then we pick a part of the skin that I think we can use for the entire body skin. So this part is okay for me. And basically what this does is that it sets a range of the colors for you, and yeah, so I try to be precise with my selection. I try to be precise with this color tone I want, and then control the hue. Here you can see that it's affecting only the selected skin tone, so I don't want the skin to be kind of yellow. I want more reds in it. All right, and then I increase the uniformity just for it to match. So right from Capture One, it does correct the skin tone for you a little bit, increase the saturation kind of a little bit, and then decrease check the lightening here, and then bringing the lightness down to kind of bringing more depth to the colors in the skin tone. Okay, so let's see whether we can control the colors at the back by using the advanced tab also. So we pick the eyedropper, and then we pick the white, the side. Okay, so let's take this one off. So the same thing, we try to be precise with the selection, and then we check the hue here. So I think this is okay. I think this is done. I think I like the way the photograph is looking. So when we look at the before and the after, you realize that just correcting the white balance and then adding a couple of sharpness, adjusting the high dynamic range, and then the exposure settings, kind of I just took a little bit. Let me bring the contrast down kind of, and then the brightness up. All right, so just something to make it pop. That's all. Before and after is looking great already. So this is pretty much what I want to do with this image here, and then we export it to Photoshop. So export, and then of course we are exporting it to Photoshop. So we check the PSD, export settings is going on the desktop. Let me choose the desktop, minimize this. All right, so, and then yeah, it's going to create a folder titled name, so it is exporting. All right, so I promise we are done with the first part of what I wanted us to treat today. That is important, and then the basic adjustment in Lightroom. All right, so let's minimize. Okay, let's close it for efficiency's sake, so that the Photoshop can be able to run as smoothly as we want. All right, so yeah, there we go. Let's open the Photoshop, and then let's start with our skin retouching, which is the next thing on our list. So these are the things that you are supposed to do on every photograph, so that you get a beautiful and a nice, well-edited photograph, like industry standard. You get it? Yeah. All right, so where is our photograph? Yeah, I'm sorry for the mess here. So this is our photograph. All right, so let's let's import into Photoshop. And right away, what we are going to do is, first of all, we are going to duplicate our background layer, and then we are going to start with a skin retouching. And with the skin retouching, obviously we are going to clear the blemishes. All right, so the blemishes. All right, so there we go. So we start by getting rid of the blemishes. Kiki is one of my favorite models, by the way. She likes smiling and she has a beautiful smile. So yeah, shout outs to her. All right, so I would like to take this bedmark off. I'll leave this one, but you know, just to keep the authenticity of the photograph. And yeah, getting rid of all the, I didn't mention earlier, I'm using the spot healing brush. I'm just doing I'm just taking away the blemishes that is difficult to get rid of. So yeah, good. All right, so basically, and yeah, that is it with the getting rid of the blemishes and using the spot healing, I mean. All right, so the next thing that we have to do is to create a frequency separation layer, because we are going to use the mixer brush to smoothen the skin and to make sure that our skin tone, because we are still on the skin tone. So this is Beauty Retouch panel from Retouching Academy. It's brilliant. If you are serious about the retouching, if you are serious about photo retouching, you need to get this. So you make your work extremely less painful and much easier. Let me put it that way. All right, I'll put your link in the description so that you guys can purchase it and you use it. All right, so let's go ahead. So we have the texture from the colors and the tones. So what we are going to do is that we are going to turn off the higher frequency and layers, and then the texture, I mean, and then smoothen with the help of the mixture brush. We are going to smoothen the skin. So this is where we get to find the mixer brush. Oh, this is huge. All right, so we bring it down and then we basically set our values. So when you look at this side of the mixer brush, all right, so this is saying that, look, when you put it on, it's going to say that when you all right, I don't know why it's not sure. Okay, so clean the brush after each stroke. So what is saying that if we are using the mixer brush on the skin, the first part that we use the brush on, the first skin part that we used, the next side that we are moving to, the software should clean the brush for us. It should clean the brush for us so that it does not mix the previous colors with the colors we are moving, or the present color we are on. So all right, so we are choosing 20 for our wet, and then we are choosing let's choose 30 for our wet, let's choose 30 for our load. And then when it comes to the mix, what we are saying is that we are going to use all right, so and then let's pick a value of 20, yeah, and then our flow is yeah, let's go 30. I'll do a whole video on how to use the mixer brush and why I chose these values. So but we have a lot to do on this photograph, so guys, cope with me here. All right, so moving on the lower frequency, the colors and then the tones, let's start. All right, so when you look at the photograph, and you have to zoom out so that you get to see the entire work and you don't mess the structure of the face. All right, so there we go. And a lot of this is just A big part of retouching is just judgment, you knowing when to stop, don't over edit the photograph, and try as much as possible to um, keep the organic part. Or how do I even put this? Much of it is you making sure you don't destroy the photograph by over retouching. It is extremely bad for you to over retouch a photograph. So all right, so yeah, so when we bring the texture up, before and after, you can see that we have smoothing the skin and the face, and we are moving downwards, and we are, yeah, to the hand, and we're gonna work on the hands. Okay. And just Kiki is having a beautiful skin, so it's not, we are not going to destroy the skin. We're just going to maintain, but then clean it as much as possible so that it looks natural and then it looks organic. All right, so when we bring the texture on, you realize that, and we do a before and after, you realize that we're smoothing the skin, and I think this part should also be done. All right, so just like that, just like that. As I mentioned earlier, a big part of retouching is you know when to stop, and you making sure that you don't destroy the photograph by over retouching. All right, so let's bring it back, and then you realize that we've worked on the skin. All right, so right after here, I would like to do the dodge and bend as soon as possible. So I think I didn't work on this part of the skin. I have to. All right. Okay. Good. All right. So yeah, the next thing is that I would like to work on. I like to do the dodge and bend on the skin, on the photograph. All right. So with the help of, let's do a stand visible layer. Then stand visible layer, Shift Command Alt E, and then let's bring our dodge and bend layers with the help of the Retouching Academy Beauty Retouch panel. And then we pick our brush, and then we choose right click to choose a soft round brush. Then we zoom in, and then yeah, most people like to do a dodge and bend on a black and white layer, but I prefer a colored, because at the end of the day, there is this when you dodge and bend on black and white, and when, for example, when you are bending, oh sorry, let's decrease our flow to 10, zoom in a little bit. As I was saying, when you are burning the skin, the darker side, of course, it adds to the reds of the image, so you have to be careful. Sometimes when you are working in black and white, you don't see how how reddish if that is the word, how reddish the darker side is looking, because when in black and white, you are just trying to make the darker side more darker, and you might be caught up, on that. So okay. Oh, so you see what I just said. All right, let's do this again. All right. So yeah, the dodge and burn here. Let's do with the dodge and burn. So we are burning it. We are basically making the darker side more darker. The eyebrow. Checking. This photograph was shot with a Canon 5D Mark IV and an 85 Sigma lens. So at 1.4 f-stop, I mean. So we don't have much details. If I say much details, I'm trying to say that we didn't shoot it at an f-stop of probably 11 or 8 or something like that. If we did, we would have a lot of details. So with this one, if we try getting, you might see that there's kind of blur that's there. And as I mentioned earlier, this photograph was a test shot. So, but the reason why I wanted us to work on this is because it was shot with the strobe wasn't on. It was just the studio lighting. So yeah, and I love how it came out. So don't worry, I'll get you studio shots next time. I mean the ones with strobe and all that, reflectors and all that. This is just studio shot. So this is just studio light. Yeah. All right. So yeah, we are dodging. So you can see if we take the dodge, if you turn it off and on, you see. But I feel it's kind of too far, so I'll decrease the saturation. I'll decrease the opacity to 60, and then bring it down to probably 50, something settled. Good. So before and after. Yeah. So right after here, we'll just jump to liquify, or we can just come to filter, and then we go to liquify. Yeah. And liquify, we'll try to control the body a bit. Good. And dress. And bring the face width a little bit closer, the jawline. Yeah. Good. All right. So I think this is perfect. And what we can also do is that we can yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. So yeah. Oh, basically this is the list I wanted us to go through. So all right, but let's move on. So the next thing that I want us to do is that I want us to jump straight into the eyes and then the teeth. So let's dodge and bend with the eyes, but with the teeth, all we have to do is we decrease the saturation. So we pick the dropper and then we select the yellows and then bring them down. and then increase the white, and all we have to do is invert, and then we will paint the white over it, increase our flow to 100%, paint to reveal the white, and we do the same with the eyes. And then we will bring our dodge and bend too, and we'll dodge and bend. We'll dodge the eyes. Okay, step back and then decrease it to the flow to 20. Okay, good. So we dodge the eyes. And the teeth. And part of the lips. So this is kind of what we first did, was a small touch of the global dodge and bend. So now we are doing something like the micro, just to you know, make the face pop, just to make the face pop. That's an extra, and when we zoom out, we realize that now the face is popping. So and then we will bend, let's bend the eyes, the darker side. As I said earlier, this photograph was shot at 1.4 f-stop, so it does not hold much detail as compared to a photograph that was probably shot at f11 or an f8 or something like that. All right, so let's do another stand visible layer. Let's delete all these, and then let's compare it to our background layer. Good, so there's much going on the skin. All right, so now let's jump to the next thing that I want us to do is to color grade this image. And doing that, first of all, I want the image to stand out, so I'll clean the background. So let's duplicate this layer, and then I would like to get rid of this. Good, I would like to get rid of that, and then I would like to get rid of this as well, and then I'll get rid of the yellow in the white, so something like this. So, and then I will invert, and then I'll paint on it. So let me review the marks I made into on it. And please, if you don't use a Wacom tab, you should get one at least. That's for them. If you want to get serious with your retouching, you need to get a Wacom tab, because you know there's so much freedom with a Wacom tab. You know, it makes you working on the photograph much easier. All right, so let me use the selective colors to work on the white. All right, like that, and yes, something like this. All I have to do now, okay, so this can come back. I wanted a kind of blue in the white, so I can just bring the same marks onto it, decrease the opacity a little bit, and then do a stand visible layer. I like doing a lot of stand visible layer because it allows me to compare the photograph from the previous, and it also keeps the layers neat so that you know what you have to do next. All right, so now let's move on straight to the colors. All right, so what we are going to do with the colors is that we are going to do, first of all, we are going to do color balance, and we are going to apply image so that we get to, this is the simplest form of luminosity masking. So we get to work on the shadows, we will get to work on the midtones, we get to work on the highlights. So basically this is the highlight because it allows us where the whites are, where the, for example, if I make a selection now, you realize that the selection has only selected the lighter side of the image. So definitely the white balance is the color balance is going to affect the highlights. Yeah. And with this image, I would like to go with a little bit of cyan on top. So like 3, and then go 4 on the greens and kind of blues. So I'm going to go wild with the blues like 5, because earlier on you realize that the photograph was in a very warm tone, and then we had to bring it back with by introducing a lot of coders. All right, so I duplicated the first color balance, and I'm going to revert the settings, and then we are just going to invert the mask to get the inverse of the highlight. That means the shadows. So, and with the shadows, I would want to, I don't know. Okay, good. So still, let me bring more cyan. I know magenta, and the magenta would have been lovely, but I would like to go with the greens, and then blues also look good in the blacks. So blues, yeah, yes, it looks good. It looks good. All right, so let's duplicate the first layer, the highlights, and then what we are going to do here is that we are going back to the apply image, and then we are going to invert the highlight mask. And what it's going to do is that it's going to give us the mid-tone. So when you have a look at it, you realize that it has now selected the mid-tones. All right. So the mid-tones, I like a couple of reds in the mid-tone. So we'll do 2 with that, and more cyan, more greens, and then blues. No, let's to blend with it. Oh, okay, let me step back. All right. So I think I deleted it. So all right, so as I was saying, yes, good, and then blues. All right, good. So if we group it, and then before and after, of course you will see the effect on it. All right, so I would like to grade, I would like to check the greens, the leaves, the flower pot behind, and yeah, make them a bit greener, to bring more life into the photograph. And it's kind of helping the composition that we are having here, even though this is a tech shot. All right, good. So yes, so this is the final image, the before and then the after. Photoshop, we are going to sharpen. The next thing is that we want to sharpen it, and by sharpening it, what we are going to do is we are going to do the shortcut. Yeah, the shortcut here, and then after that, and this comes with the Retouching Academy. So but basically what it did was a high pass. It did a high pass on the photograph, and then it just chose probably 1.2, 1.3, and then did an overlay at the blending mode. So this is basically what it did, but it's quite much easier to use a shortcut. Yeah. All right, so when we save it out, we are going to add on sharp mask, just to make sure that the image is looking more sharpened. Yes, so guys, basically this is hopefully this video is not too long for you guys to watch, but this is what I did to turn the picture from from the warm tone to this gorgeous image you have a look at. Thank you. All right, let's meet next time. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. Yeah. All right, peace out.